G'day guys, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the Western Separatists has just beaten the Kangto Lickers from Queensland 42 points to 19. And this is not a joke, this is an actual scoreline. I actually don't know when was the last time the Western Force put this many points against the Reds. I don't even know if this ever, like, honestly, let me know. I don't know the last time this has actually, the Western Force have put such a dominant score against a fellow Australian side. But hey, it's happened. And, you might be wondering, how did this happen? Well, I can tell you, last week, the Western Force played the same strategy as they did this week against one of the best teams in New Zealand, the Chiefs. The Chiefs had a better team out on the field last week against the Western Force than they did tonight against the Waratahs. They had Damien McKenzie, they had Nana Soturo, both huge in their backline. You can tell last week that the Chiefs were more polished. The Chiefs were probably a little bit fitter, more experienced, and probably a little bit more physical. Despite that, the Western Force did not come out and capitulate into kicking a bunch of penalty goals. They knew the game plan they wanted to pursue. They knew the areas in terms of the kicking game, the high ball, the attacking structure they wanted to work on. They took that opportunity last week and they drilled it as hard as they could against a top-ranked Kiwi team. And guess what? It took the Chiefs all the way to the last 5 minutes to finally close that game out against the Western Force. It doesn't. The most important part for the Western Force from that game is not the fact that they lost the game. It's the fact that they took the opportunity. They took the opportunity to grow and develop themselves as a team against one of the best teams in the competition, and they took every minute of it. They didn't waste a single second of that opportunity to build and get better at the game. And what happened last week was exposed for the Western Force is that lack of speed in the center field with two veterans, right? They had Curly, right? Mr. Curly Beale at 12, George Bridge at 13, and it was a little bit disconnected there. Like there was just a little bit of oomph in that center field combination, and just really lacked a bit of formal, ability to punch through the four in that center field there with the two combination there. And this week, I talked about this last week. I said they probably needed someone younger. No offense to Curly, someone with a bit more punching power out of the 12. And sure enough, they made the change this week. Kongzul was putting at 12, and it was outstanding. He was physical, and the thing is, they would have looked at the tape, and Kongzul would have been known like the expectations, what they wanted him to do, right? He would have looked at what Curly did and said, okay, I need to do better than that in terms of this area, how I should be running the lines, where should I be going, like how I should be doing these offloads, who should I be creating opportunities for, and as my partner to offload the ball to, right? He's looked at last week and stepped in last week and really made a huge difference in that center field position out of the 12 jersey, with Curly coming off the bench to bring that experience to finish off the game. And there were points in this game where you would have, I think a lot of people would have said that the Western Force was, 2 tries ahead. They just needed to close out the game. Let's go, let's play prevent and kick a bunch of penalties and, make sure the Reds can never catch up. No, the Western Force didn't do that. They backed themselves. They kept on pushing. Not only that they pushed and got the bonus point, right? But also, the fact that they were pushing took the Reds out of their ability in terms of sapping the energy and denied the time that the Reds could have had to stage a comeback in the first place. So it's like double checkmate. They've taken away your time and taken away the energy, and they put themselves in a position for a bonus point. And they had, this is the difference, right, between how the Western Force played in the second half, how the Waratahs played a couple weeks ago against the Blues. Capitulating and trying to milk penalties, trying to kick 3 points and hold on to the lead. And the Western Force did exactly what needs to be done. Denying time, denying energy, and getting the bonus point as a result as well. And all of that is because they consistently worked on the areas they wanted to work. The high ball was so effective tonight. It was looking like every time they kicked the high ball, the Reds just did not know what to do. And you can tell the high ball set up properly too. It's a back chasing the high ball, and then they have a forward following it through to get the turnover, to seal the to seal the ball, so that it doesn't get turned over if they do win the ball. Everything followed up really well. Donaldson was organizing everything extremely well. This was a battle between the two potentially Wallabies fly half, Carter Gordon and Ben Donaldson. Gordon was pulled off the field 55 minutes, 60 minutes. He didn't even get to play the full game. That's how badly this went for the Reds. It was like day and night. One of the Donaldson looked like he knew exactly what he was doing, and his players were coordinating with him. Carter Gordon looked like just like a pawn on the field, waiting waiting for for the knight to just jump over and take him. That's what it looked like. And this is also a thing I want to criticize the Reds a little bit. Why did Carter Gordon get 2 weeks break? He had 2 weeks off. And of course he put him back on the field against the Western Force. He's going to look completely out of it. Why was he taking a break? He played one game again for the Wallabies last year. I had to double check to make sure that he wasn't injured. He's not on the injury list. He's not on the injury list. Why did he take it two weeks off? It doesn't even make sense. He had one game last year for the Wallabies. That's not the workload that deserving. He hardly played rugby at all last year, in fact, because he had an injury at rugby league. So why did he get 2 week break? And now he just looked completely I thought he was looking like the number one fly half, 3 weeks ago. And this week it looks like it's just completely retraced, 6 months of work. How are you, what is going on? How are you guys actually managing the workloads for your players? There's no way you could tell me that he's overworked after playing one game last year for the Wallabies. It's just crazy, right? Carter Gordon, completely outclassed by Donaldson. It just day and night. One of the things that the Western Force, because the fact that they persisted on their strategy last week, the Western Force looked really, really comfortable with ball in hand. Yeah, they were just comfortable carrying it, running at you, recycling the ball, applying pressure at the breakdown if you had the ball. Just looked really comfortable all around. And the defense stayed connected for pretty much the whole game. There was one try at the end where maybe people got a bit tired and couldn't quite with Dalgunu score. That was the only time where it looked like the Western Force defense was a little bit disconnected. Everybody's kind of looking at each other what's going on here? But for the most part, the team was connected. The team looked comfortable. The team looked just a clarity of what they wanted to do. And boy, huge difference. The Reds, on the other hand, Carter Gordon aside, the defense was ineffective a lot of times. What's his name? Malia, the Argentinian lock. The Malia, Franco Malia. At the end, he literally ran through 5 Reds defenders to score a try. There was a number of Western Force players were just running through the Reds defense, 2-3 players just running through them. Honestly, this was not a good look for the Reds. And to be honest, the way that the Western Force plays is how I want every Australian team to play. Don't go out there and try to kick penalties. Don't go out there and think that you're playing against the Springboks and you gotta play prevent from halftime. Just play rugby. Just get comfortable at actually doing the basics. Get comfortable at running. Get comfortable at the breakdowns. Get comfortable being under pressure. That's something that you have to experience to get good at. You can't just read a book and learn how to handle pressure. You can't just start becoming good at public speaking if you never do any public speaking in practice. If you don't start by, presenting in front of a group of fair friends and just throw you out there in front of 2,000 people and tell you to do a presentation, a public speaking, that's not going to work. You have to get comfortable under pressure. And that's something that the Australian teams and the Australian players are not used to. And it's okay. It takes time. But you have to put yourselves in that situation and persist through it. Anyway, that's another rant for me. Happy Easter, everyone. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the match stats of the game. 3 tries to 6, bonus point win for the Western Force. I think this is the first time Western Force actually beat the Reds by more than 3 tries. 514 run meters to the Reds, 418. 180 carries. Talk about, being comfortable with the ball, right? They're just happy to run at you. It doesn't matter if they're only going forward at half the rate as you do. 42 defenders beaten. I mean, if you run enough, boy, that is crazy. Only turnovers conceded. Yeah, the Western Force. 18 against the Reds, conceded against the Reds with fewer carries. Yeah. Tackles made, 219 for the Reds. 42 missed tackles. 110 tackles made for the Western Force, 17. My goodness, that's just day and night difference. Kicking game, 28 kicks in play for the Western Force, 19 for the Reds. 1 conversion miss for the Reds, none. Perfect for Donaldson. Kick meters from hand, 830. That doesn't even look right. 833 kick meters from hand to 486. The Reds weren't even playing the kicking game. You're not even in the same league when it comes to the kicking game. You're just kicking the ball away because you don't know what you're doing. This is what you're in. Like, this sort of difference in kick meters is literally what he says. 12 lineouts for the Reds, 3 lost. 19 lineouts for the Western Force, no lost. 0. Scrums. The Reds, to be fair, had a slight scrum advantage, but the Western Force did a really good job to not, conceding that into penalties. So, yeah. Penalties conceded, 8 against the Reds. There was 1 yellow card against Harry Wilson. Head-on-head hit. I thought that was a tough call. I thought that's just a rugby incident because it looked like Harry was ducking down to go for the legs. And then on the way down, he hit the player in the head. I thought it was just rugby collusion. Maybe just a penalty at most. Should not have been a yellow card, but Ben O'Keefe thought I was yellow. But anyway, Western Force, 11 penalties conceded. Yeah, a little bit more penalties conceded. Probably should be, again, something for them to work on, right? 11 penalties, you want it to be single digit. So you got a little bit of work to do in terms of staying disciplined for the Western Force. And Lomax did not debut, by the way. He had a hamstring issue. What's with all these rugby league players having hamstring issues during training? Too much creatine or something. Anyway, point summary of the game. Quick recap. Yeah, right away, you can tell that the Reds weren't physically fronting up against the Western Force. They were, the Western Force, every time the Western Force carried, they got closer and closer to the try line, and eventually, Molia picked up the ball, got the ball down the line, 12 minutes in, 7 points to nil. 16 minutes into the play, the Reds had a really nice set move. They had a line out, the ball came out, went to like a center field to Paisami, backdoor play, and this was when Junkyard Dog was on the blind side of the line out, swept around, just ran straight through the 13 channel, beautiful run, boom, try time, 7 points to 7. 23 minutes in the game, there was a penalty against the Western Force right in front of the goal line. Quick tap from Clyde Thomas. You draw like 3 defenders and passed to Bryle, crashed over for the try. 14 points to 7. 12 points to 7. They missed the penalty here. Did they miss this one? But anyway, yeah, they missed. This was like right next to the goalpost too, and it hit the goalpost. So 12 points to 7. 32 minutes in the game. There was a nice little unders run from Donaldson. And then there was a lot of sustained, made a nice little break from the Reds defense. There was a lot of sustained pressure. And eventually the Argentinian lock, Molia, pick and drive, went over for the try. 14 points to 12. The Western Force gets ahead just before halftime. The Western Force was like 40 minutes out. Just good hands all the way down to the sideline. And who was it that ran? One of the who was it that was near the sideline? Was it George Bridge? Just ran down the sideline, back in field to Greeley, straight through. 21 points to 12, half time. 48 minutes on the clock in the second half. Donaldson was just directing traffic, just picking out the right options. I think at this point, maybe, Gordon's already been taken off the field. There was a penalty. The Western Force kicked for the there was a penalty advantage. There was a what happened? There was a crossfield kick, and Lancaster jumped up, grabbed the ball, and dot the ball down, and won the crossfield from the penalty advantage. And he looked like he rolled his ankle on the way down. So hopefully it's gonna be okay. 12 points to 28, and 53 minutes. Harry Wilson got a yellow card for head contact. 59 minutes. The pressure continues. Unrelenting pressure, just carry again from the Western Force. Kept on pushing. There was a penalty advantage and a warning against the Reds. And the Western Force went for the line out again. Got really close, pick and go. And eventually, Paenga Amosa went in for the try. 35 points to 12. There was a 75 minutes in the game. The Reds was trying to run out of their own 22. And this is the only time where I thought the Western Force backline looked disconnected a little bit. And then George Fluke got like a delayed pass from King Wilson, and then he ran through a little gap and then linked up with Diogunu, who ran in for the try. 19 points to 35. And finally, on the 80th minute, the Western Force trying to reclaim their bonus point. And this was just, I think it was just embarrassing defense from the Reds, to be honest. Molia got the ball, and he ran like 15 meters probably. There was 4, maybe 5 Reds players just got bumped over like little kids. And then he ran through carrying like a player on his back for the try. He had no right to score this. And somehow he just bumped over 4 or 5 players and gone over for the try. Yeah, 42 points to 19, the final score. Really well done, Western Force. And thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next week for the rugby news. Cheers.